Hello everyone, and welcome to my CS24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Are Greta and Matthew from 90 Day Fiance? The Other Way still together? 90 Day Fiance. The Other Way Season 7 welcomed Matthew and Greta as one of their couples. The Other Way couple first met on a vegan dating app. She is a recent law graduate from Oklahoma, specifically from Oklahoma. He is a UK-based asset manager. Following TLC's mid-season preview release, the vegan couple still seems to be going strong. However, fans can't overlook the significant challenges in their path to forever. They met on the dating app when Greta was in the UK studying at the University of Oxford. They didn't realize that their casual conversations would deepen into a more profound bond. Their connection grew stronger over shared quirks and their love for cats. She has moved to England to live with him and his parents in their English countryside cottage. What can go wrong in the peaceful, elderly town of Market Harborough, England? 90 Day Fiancé. Fans criticize Greta while applauding Matthew's mom. Greta moved to England for Matthew, seemingly seeking Mr. Darcy for her Elizabeth on 90 Day Fiancé. But life ain't a Jane Austen novel, and the fans' vegan couple is just beginning to get the taste of it. After they moved in together, the pair has been discussing plans and possibilities. However, based on their exchanges, fans have showered them with criticism. Fans are claiming they don't have any ounce of chemistry. Furthermore, critics have criticized the couple for having such an immature grade school or early middle school mental definition of a relationship. However, Matthew's mom has quickly become a fan favorite with her classy demeanor. Viewers are applauding her grace in handling Greta's kid bombshell. The fandom has dubbed her an absolutely top-notch human being. 90 Day Fiancé. Are Greta and Matthew still together following the mid-season preview? TLC just released a 90 Day Fiancé, The Other Way mid-season preview. The Tinder couple Matthew and Greta are still going strong and steady following the mid-season preview. However, their limited time together hasn't been easy so far. Trademarks to 90-day couples, challenges regarding finances, future and livelihood, and compatibility continue to pile up. She herself has remarked that it's been a bumpy start. It feels like Matthew and I are on different pages about everything. Greta shared her concerns. Since I arrived in England, things have been up and down, she also confessed. I always felt like animals get me, and humans don't until I met Matthew, she had shared previously. However, after her move, practical life caught up to the loving couple. Some sources even expressed concerns that they are mistaking superficial common interests as some sort of deep compatibility that can sustain a relationship. However, their love persists as they continue to move forward, treating their situation with respect and patience. Additionally, fans were previously skeptical about Greta's living situation with Matthew's parents. But surprisingly, the future in-laws have been very accommodating in making the tiny English cottage into a cozy abode for Greta. The parents went out of their way to prepare for her needs. Caroline set up a separate meat-free zone in her freezer due to her son's girlfriend's vegan lifestyle. She brought out a vegan cake with blueberries, apples, hazelnuts, and strawberries, which featured little cats, as Greta loves cats. Their welcoming hospitality has made them quite a fan favorite. For more such latest Greta and Matthew's updates, stay tuned to TV season and spoilers. The sun dipped low over the Baltic Sea, casting a molten gold shimmer across the shoreline of Tallinn. Greta stood at the water's edge, her arms wrapped tightly around herself, though the crisp evening breeze had nothing to do with the chill running through her bloodstream. Tonight wasn't about the sea. It was about Matthew. 3 months had passed since the cameras stopped rolling on their season of 90 Day Fiancé. The Other Way. Viewers were left wondering whether the quirky Estonian artist and the earnest American paramedic had survived the turbulence that defined their relationship on screen. Filming had ended, but the story was far from over. Greta's doubts resurface. Greta's phone buzzed incessantly in her pocket, but she didn't dare look. She already knew who it was. Matthew. She could hear his voicemail in her head before even tapping play. Babe, we need to talk. Please. Greta wasn't sure she could handle another talk. She had spent weeks painting in her studio, burying herself in canvases splashed with turmoil, deep blues clashing with frantic reds. Her art revealed what she wouldn't say out loud. She was scared. Scared of losing him. Scared of keeping him. Scared of making another mistake. When they met, she thought Matthew was her balance, a calm presence who grounded her wild creativity. But the show exposed cracks between them. Her independence versus his need for reassurance. Her blunt Estonian honesty versus his Midwestern politeness. Her past heartbreak versus his fear of being abandoned. Now the producers wanted them to film a follow-up segment. But Greta didn't want cameras documenting another fight. She wanted answers. Real ones. Matthew arrives with questions of his own. Matthew's footsteps approached the beach with the quiet determination that defined him as a paramedic. He spotted Greta instantly. She stood out, dark clothes, hair dancing in the wind, a silhouette etched against the dying sun. "Greta," he called softly. She stiffened before turning. "You came. You said you needed space. I gave you 3 weeks. And now you're tired of waiting?" "No," he replied gently. "I'm scared of losing you." Greta swallowed hard. There it was again, the fear that had followed them from their first argument on the show. He stepped closer. "Then tell me what's going on." She sighed, staring out at the sea. "We're different. Too different, maybe." Matthew shook his head. "You knew that when I moved here. Differences don't scare me. Silence does." His voice cracked, and Greta felt a pull in her chest. He wasn't dramatic by nature. That was her role in their relationship. When Matthew broke, it meant he was breaking for real. A heart-spilled conversation. "I feel like I'm losing myself," Greta finally whispered. "Everything moved so fast. You left your whole life in Dallas to be with me, and now I feel like I'm not enough to make you happy here." "You are enough," he insisted. "But I can't read your mind, Greta. You shut me out. I'm trying to build a life with you, and I need you to meet me halfway." Greta's eyes glistened. "What if my halfway isn't what you need? Then we figure it out." Greta shook her head. "You say that like everything can be fixed." Matthew exhaled. "Not everything. But us. Yes. If we're honest." He paused, then pulled something from his pocket. A folded piece of paper. She blinked. "What is that?" "My letter to you. I wrote it when I thought we might be over." Greta hesitated before taking it. The handwriting was messy, rushed, showing pages of revisions, scratched out words, and raw emotion. Matthew watched as she unfolded it with trembling fingers. Matthew's letter, excerpt. "Greta, you're the first person I've met who sees the world in colors I never noticed before. I know love isn't supposed to be easy, but I want to fight for us. I want to learn your shades of silence, your storms, your calm. If you need time, I'll wait. If you need space, I'll give it. But don't walk away without telling me if there's still love here. Because I'm still in it. All the way. Matthew." Greta pressed the letter to her lips, overwhelmed. He didn't buy flowers or write poetry. He lived in facts and logic. This letter was his version of a grand romantic gesture, and it hit harder than she expected. "I don't deserve you," she murmured. "Maybe not," he teased through his tears. "But I want you anyway." She laughed, the first laugh in weeks, and Matthew let out a breath he had been holding since their last fight. The turning point. "Are we still together?" he asked. The question hung between them like a bridge waiting to be crossed. "I don't want to lose you," Greta admitted. "But I'm scared of messing everything up." Matthew stepped close, gently taking her cold hands in his warm ones. "Relationships aren't perfect, Greta. They're messy. But if we both still want this, then we're still together." Her voice was barely above a whisper. "I want this." Matthew smiled, slow, genuine, relieved. "Then we're together." But Greta wasn't done. She pulled him into a tight embrace, burying her face into his chest. "I'm done running," she said. "If you're willing to stay, then I'm willing to stay too." He held her even tighter. "I never left." Where they stand now. By the time they walked away from the beach, hand in hand, the sky had faded into a deep violet. Greta felt lighter. Matthew felt hopeful. They both knew challenges still lay ahead, cultural differences, miscommunication, emotional wounds that needed time to heal. But for now, they were together. Truly together. In the weeks that followed, they filmed their update for the show. Producers were stunned. They expected a breakup, but instead got a couple who had fought their way back to each other, stronger and more vulnerable than before. Greta moved her art pieces to a shared studio space so Matthew wouldn't feel shut out. Matthew enrolled in language classes to better understand her world. They didn't fix everything overnight, but they started building a rhythm that belonged only to them. And every night before they went to bed, Greta slipped Matthew's letter into the drawer beside her. A reminder that love wasn't perfect, but it was worth fighting for.